Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today, we are diving into a topic that hits close to home for everybody. We're talking about security vulnerabilities.
hmm
And to make it even more relevant, we're going to be focusing in on a major U.S. city that everyone knows and loves,
Oh, yeah.
New Orleans.
Sounds interesting.
So what really caught our eye was this statement from a former FBI agent. And, I'll just read the quote.
Sure.
There are some pretty obvious holes in security in New Orleans. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of a chilling thought, right?
Yeah, it definitely makes you stop and think. Anytime you hear an expert, especially someone from the FBI, use a phrase like obvious holes, well, it kind of raises some red flags.
Totally. I mean, what would you say those obvious holes in security might actually look like in a city?
Well, you got to think about what the FBI focuses on, right? They're all about counterterrorism, crime prevention, protecting the country from threats.
Right.
So when an agent sees a hole in security, they're probably thinking about things that could be exploited by criminals or even terrorists.
So, like, what kind of specific thing?
Well, think about a city's infrastructure.
Okay.
Ports, transportation systems, power grids, communication networks. These are all critical to a city's functioning. And if they're not properly secured, they become vulnerable to attacks, sabotage, disruption.
I see.
And then there's the human element, too. Social engineering scams, cyber attacks targeting individuals or organizations. These can all create security holes that are harder to detect and prevent.
That's true. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, and cities are complex, dynamic environments. There's always something going on, people moving around, events happening, businesses operating. It's really difficult to keep track of everything and ensure that every single point is secure.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this FBI agent obviously has some serious experience and training to be able to spot these vulnerabilities, right?
Oh, absolutely. FBI agents go through rigorous training programs. They learn about criminal psychology, investigative techniques, counterterrorism strategies, cybersecurity threat assessment, all sorts of specialized skills that allow them to identify and analyze security risks.
Wow. So they're not just like watching movies and busting down doors.
No, not quite. It's a lot more complex than that. They have to be able to think like criminals, anticipate their moves, understand their motivations, and develop strategies to stay one step ahead.
Fascinating. So back to New Orleans. I mean, it's such a unique city with its own particular history, geography, culture.
hmm
How do those factors play into its security vulnerabilities?
Yeah. Right. Well, New Orleans is a port city, right?
Right.
And ports are inherently vulnerable. They're gateways for goods, people, ideas, but also potential threats, like smuggling, trafficking, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then there's the geography of the city below sea level, surrounded by water, susceptible to hurricanes and flooding. All of these factors create unique security challenges that other cities might not face.
Yeah. New Orleans is famous for its festivals, Mardi Gras Jazz Fest.
Exactly. And large gatherings like that present huge security risks. Crowd control, preventing stampedes, protecting people from potential attacks. It's a massive undertaking.
It's kind of unsettling to think about all the different ways a city can be vulnerable.
It is, but, it's important to be aware of these risks so we can take steps to mitigate them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what can cities like New Orleans do to kind of shore up their defenses and address these potential security risks?
Well, it's about having a multi-layered approach. Investing in physical security measures like surveillance cameras, better lighting, stronger barriers around critical infrastructure,
Right.
but also cybersecurity, strengthening IT systems, protecting against cyber attacks, training personnel to recognize and respond to threats.
It's kind of like a combination of high-tech solutions and good old-fashioned common sense.
Yeah, exactly. And, public awareness is crucial too. Getting citizens involved, teaching them how to recognize suspicious activity, report potential threats.
So it's not just about relying on the authorities. It's about everyone being vigilant.
Precisely. Security is everyone's responsibility.
That's a great point to end on. So to sum up, it seems like even cities we think of as safe and fun-loving, like New Orleans, can have these underlying vulnerabilities that we need to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to all of us, citizens, authorities, everyone, to work together to keep our cities safe.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thanks for joining us today on the Deep Dive. It's been really eye-opening.
It has been.
And for our listeners out there, what do you think? What steps can cities take to be more proactive about security?
Yeah, that's a good question to think about.
Food for thought. Until next time.
See ya.